In Texas, when a juvenile commits a crime, their punishment is handled by TJJD, or the Texas Juvenile Justice Department. However, TJJD only has jurisdiction over a kid until their 19th birthday. So what happens when a juvenile commits a crime so serious that they should be punished beyond the age of 19? That's what we're talking about this week, so stick around. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope you're having a great week and gearing up for another good weekend. This week, we're talking about juvenile cases. Now, juvenile cases in Texas are incredibly complicated. The Juvenile Justice Code is a hodgepodge, a mix of criminal law, family law, civil law, kind of all rolled into one, and even has special rules on top of that. So juvenile law is one of those topics that I'm never going to be able to cover any individual topic in enough detail to really hit everything in like a 3 to 5 minute video. So as always, if this is something that interests you or something that you need to know more about, please reach out and call me, talk to me, and I'd be happy to discuss it in more detail. But this week we're talking about when a juvenile commits an offense that is punishable by some term that is longer than the Juvenile Justice Department has jurisdiction over them. So like I said in the introduction, typically when a child is sentenced to a term in TJJD, which is the juvenile equivalent of prison, they have to be released on their 19th birthday at the very latest. So what happens when they commit an offense like murder or something like aggravated kidnapping, and the state wants them to be in jail, in prison, whether that is juvenile or adult, for longer than that? Well, in those instances, the state really has two options. The first is to simply transfer the child's case to the adult system, just fully take the case, move it over to the adult side. That's what people are typically referring to when they hear the term they're being charged as an adult or they're being tried as an adult. What that's referencing is the case has been taken out of the juvenile system and transplanted into the adult system. That's a complicated process, and maybe we can cover that on a new video. But the other option that they have is they can request something that's called a determinate sentence. What a determinate sentence is a sentence, that is handed down by either the judge or a jury, depending on the case, that is for a term of years that will extend past the child's 19th birthday. Okay, so let's say a child is 16 years old and they've committed a murder. The state requests a determinate sentence and the judge agrees or the jury agrees, and the child is sentenced to 30 years or 40 years, okay? So how does that work? Well, the child's 16 now. What would happen is the child would then go into TJJD, the Juvenile Justice Department. They would go to juvenile jail. They would serve out their term or begin serving out their term in juvenile detention. Once they are 19, or right before their 19th birthday, the child then gets sent back to the same judge that sentenced him for a parole hearing. That judge is then tasked with determining, has the child been sufficiently rehabilitated to such an extent that it is in justice's best interest to release him and release him out into the community, say you are paroled, you are done with your sentence, or has he not been rehabilitated and he should instead be transferred over to TDCJ, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, the adult prison, to serve out the remainder of his sentence in adult prison. So that parole hearing right before the 19th birthday is hugely important. And it is not uncommon for judges to parole juveniles at that hearing, even if the child has committed the most serious of offenses. There are certain juvenile judges that have paroled juveniles that have committed capital murder, but that have demonstrated while they've been in juvenile detention their ability to be rehabilitated, to change, to set themselves on the right path. And so the judge has said that based upon that, we are going to parole you now rather than transfer you over to the adult prison. So it's not a guarantee that that sentence will be served. But in any event, again, these are all discrete topics that I could probably spend an hour on, but I won't right now. But that's the general idea of how a state can go about sentencing a child as an adult. So there's this difference between trying a child as an adult or sentencing them into adulthood. Two different things, both available to the state. Again, super complicated stuff, and there's a lot more to it than what I've hit on here. So if there's ever a situation where you need more information on this, or you're just curious, then please feel free to reach out via email, a comment here, or swing by my live stream every Sunday evening at 7:45. The link will be down in the comments below, or in the video description below. And we can talk about this or anything else that tickles your fancy. So hope to see you there. Hope to see you soon. Again, as always, have a wonderful weekend. Have a great week next week. And I'll see you next Friday. But until then, be good and stay on the right side of the bars.